What is going on, guys? This is Matt Marinoff. My co-host, co-chair today is the lovely Josephine Surprenant, and she's from Fairfax, Virginia, correct?
That is correct.
And I'm actually so excited to talk about her story, a little bit about her, and basically, I guess, how she found us. And we're going to talk about our mentorship program. We're going to talk about the importance of the education and really understanding what short sales are. And we're also going to talk, she's going to tell us a little tiny story, no names. And she's going to talk about how she was actually turned down from reaching out to quote unquote, some other, gurus in the industry and what happened there. But let's talk a little bit about our guest today. And again, it's Josephine Surprenant, right?
That is correct, yes.
Killing it. Now, Surprenant, isn't that, you said it's a derivative French for surprise?
Yep, surprising.
Surprising.
Yep, French Canadian.
Got it.
Yep.
I love that. And your company name is Fidum Company, right? That
is correct, yes.
Okay. And so basically a couple different things. I guess what we need to know about you. Your company has a unique approach in working with opportunities for investors and offering solutions to people that are upside down, very similar to Real Estate Recovery Group. We try to make sense of the deals when basically deals are dead, similar to how you look at transactions, which is really great. You handle a short sale negotiating and the processing, and you try to make the process itself as smooth and seamless as possible for whoever's purchasing the property, similar to Real Estate Recovery Group. And you're looking to help homeowners that are in distress, dead on balls, accurate to what Real Estate Recovery Group does. So you are definitely people before profit, which we love. Now, you also, from what I understand, you are a private investor. You're also doing private lending. You've been in the industry for about 3 years now. You're a local with your local Chamber of Commerce. And basically, you're working hard to maintain the growth of your company, the integrity of your name, and relationships with banks that you work with. And basically, your goal is to meet the goals of the lender and also working with your community with people that are in distress.
That is
pretty accurate.
Yes.
So with that said, I appreciate you so much coming on today and taking time. You had expressed, I guess your love for helping individuals, and you had reached out to me personally after reaching out or subscribing or inquiring about coming into Short Sale 101 group. And then I think you also friend me personally, and as I always do when someone friends me, I say, hey, look, if there's anything I can do to help, you're already laughing. If there's anything I can help with, or if you have any questions, you want to network, want to talk shop, please let me know. And you did. But tell everybody how you actually came across Real Estate Recovery Group and talk about the travel where you had to get to actually meet us.
Absolutely. So I kept running into short sales and wanted to understand them better. So I did some researching books, researching the internet, tried to find some good, solid resources for understanding the short sale process. Facebook was a great avenue of being able to look up groups, because I've done it with other topics that I've wanted to find more resources with for a better understanding. So I found the Short Sale 101 group, and I reached out and I was able to get questions answered. It seemed like there was a real sense of community and the goals in which I wanted to be able to understand. It's in helping the actual homeowner that's underwater, because a lot of typical investor groups, they kind of just say, okay, that's a dead lead. You can't do anything with it. There's no profit. It's underwater. Move on. walk away pretty much. Don't waste your time, because it will take a year to 2 years, whatever, to take care of that property, to find a solution for it. So I thought there has to be a better way. And so that's why I started the journey of looking for answers for short sales. And then I came across you, Matt, and Lia, and it's been history with that.
So let me ask this question. So you had mentioned to me off the air, and we're not going to mention any names, but you said that you'd reached out to, quote unquote, another professional that markets and says that they are a guru or whatever it is they said that they are. And what was the impression of your encounter when you had reached out to ask a simple question?
Right. I had reached out for some clarity. I had written some information that I needed some clarity on the topic, and I was told that just research further. I don't have time for this. This is why I've put such and such together. Go learn it on your own, pretty much. So, yeah.
Cool. So the purpose of the Short Sale 101 group was to be able to have a collaboration with people that maybe they just have a simple question, or maybe they just don't have the money to invest, or maybe they don't have the, how do I say this, true feeling about whether or not they actually want to be in the short sale industry and to go after distressed real estate. And everybody has the expendable funds to find out if they want to like learn it or not learn it. So the whole concept with the Short Sale 101 group was to be able to help individuals that were completely lost. And obviously, you know, it was put in place for that reason. But yes, we do get a lot of leads out of the group. We help as many people as we can. And some people decide to go in a different direction, and maybe they want to take mentorship like you actually did. But I wanted to cover a couple things because it's so important that people understand the importance of the group, because you were going on Facebook and you were looking for individuals to help you or to question, hey, where do I go to learn? And then you came across the Short Sale 101 group, and then you also friended me. And I do what I normally do. I say, hey, thanks for friending me. You know, if you ever want to talk shop or find out more about what I do, let me know. And, you know, you're like an anonymous. You actually followed through with it and you did it, which is good. I was clearing out people actually yesterday on Facebook. And it's funny because people don't understand how to market on Facebook. They don't know how to use the tools of it. And there are people that are reaching out to me now and want to be my friend, whereas I tried to friend them in the past. They didn't friend me. Now you're laughing. They want to be my friend now, but I shot them a message on Instant Messenger and Facebook. And they didn't look at their Instant Messenger. That's such a valuable tool. And I look at that every single day, and I make sure that it's set up on all my smartphone devices, because you never know what you're going to leave on the table. So if people are watching this now and they're not a part of the private group that we have on Facebook, which is the Short Sales 101 group, join the group, but you have to answer the questions. If you don't answer the questions, you're not getting in the group. It's that simple. So I want to get that out of the way.
Yeah,
now,
something I should point out also is that there's so much misinformation out there. And one thing that I found with Short Sales 101 is that you would take misinformation out there and dissect it and actually answer why it's wrong and why it needs to be done a particular way. It would be a more in-depth answer.
Right. So, I mean, look, it's all about rules, regulations, and guidelines. And on my team, nobody knows more about the rules, regulations, and guidelines than, you know, the famous Lia Chambers. And I want to make it known, and I want to make it very important that Lia Chambers is an important part of my team. I can't do what I do and do these lives and offer the training that I offer for individuals without Lia behind me, basically hounding and pounding the banks and making sure that things are done correctly. We always have issues, it seems, when it comes down to the wire for the closings. And she's actually working on something that should have closed yesterday. And for whatever reason, the title company did not do their job. And we're in jeopardy of the short sale not going through because of the title company. So when we refer or we recommend somebody that we want to work with, it's not because, hey, you know, we're making money off of this. There's no money. It's, if it's not broke, why fix it? If the wheel is round and it's smooth, why am I going to throw something in the way that's going to be an obstacle and make it that we don't close? And we always get a lot of, you know, I should have listened, or I listened to my attorney, or I thought this was going to be okay. I didn't think it was a big deal. So we have a lot of one and dones, and people don't like that. But in the end, if you're not going to listen to us and you're holding us over a cliff and you let go and a transaction fails and we're dead, why would I want to give somebody a second chance in something like that? You're dealing with people that are in trouble, and people need to understand that when the homeowner is in trouble, and if the transaction doesn't work out, they can move on. Oh, well, on to the latest and the greatest. So Leah and myself, obviously, you know, show the importance of how we feel and what we do and why we're doing it. So you actually put in an email to me. First off, before I forget, you know, Leah mentored me. She's amazing. And you guys just closed your first deal together a couple of weeks ago.
We did.
What was it feeling like, honestly, working with Leah and having Leah on your team and working with you closely as a mentor?
She is fantastic with communication. She's very dependable. You don't have to keep reminding them that you're there to get a question answered or something to be followed up on. Sometimes she would answer before I even thought of the question. She would know the step that would have to come next, and she'd be due diligent in letting me know the process and the proper way to set it up. And she would, I would call her the email queen. She's great with emails and making sure everyone is on the same page. We had a lot of people from different states. This transaction was fairly complicated. Our seller was in Florida. His property that he was had to let go was in Maryland. I'm in Virginia. So it was one of those things that communication was key with everyone, because we couldn't all just sit down and at the table, which that's kind of how I got started, was we'd just all sit down at the table and work things out. This was very over the phone, over the email. Had to make sure everything was done to the T. And then especially with this COVID-19 hit right in the middle of the transaction, the lender's line went. They were working on ghost staff for a while. So communication was really hard to get through with them. She was very diligent with me with making sure that we got through. We kept losing. We went through, I'm trying to remember, 3 or 4 lost MIT reps that were handling our file within 1 month. So that was pretty intense. We had to keep reminding them that they had all the proper documentation, that we did not have to keep restarting. It's only been a week and the file's already been transferred to someone new. So she helped me with that confidence, in the sense of having to deal with the pushback of new handlers on a file that had already all the information that it needed. It just needed to get to the next step.
Did she point it out to them?
Yes. Well, yes, we would have a file. They would have all the documents they needed, and they would just get handed it, because the guy beforehand had only had it for a week, because the guy before them got let go, and then they got let go the following week, and then the next person who got it got let go, until we got finally the 4th person, I believe, actually ended up submitting it in and getting our approval letter.
If I was to make a carbon copy of myself when it comes to the answer of it's not a no until you get a restraining order, it 100% would be Leah, because what Lia has brought to my team, to the company, I couldn't ask for a better counterpart that works with me and
Mhm.
understands me. And you know what? I mean, look, I am not exactly the how do I say, the most easy person to get along with when it comes to business on a day-to-day basis. I expect a lot from my team members. And in the past, I've said, there are certain people that don't understand, I guess, my drive and the fact that I want to make sure that things are done a certain way. Uh, People are relying on us. And when I say us, Josephine, I say you as well. Lia speaks very highly of you. She says that, she has a very good feeling about you. And as far as, your skills and your ability. And the fact that you're willing to come on here and talk about your working with Lia with our mentorship program, not everybody wants to do it. Not everybody sees the value in understanding the rules and regulations and guidelines. And that's really important. That is going to be the difference between getting a transaction completed and a transaction just falling off and dying. Now,
Absolutely.
so obviously, I love the fact that you have a strong bond with Lia, and I look forward, obviously, to hearing more stories from Lia and updates. I love talking with you. I love explaining things to you as well, and I see that you guys have a bond together, which I think is amazing. But let's talk a little bit about the family life, because you're a very busy person,
Yes.
and, and Lia made it very clear that she is not work with mentorship wise anybody is doing their due diligence and been as dedicated as you are. And she goes, and it's not like she just has one kid, or okay, she's got 3 kids. I'm like, what? And then she laughed and she said, Matt, she's got 3 kids that are 3, 2, and 1. That's massive that you can control that. And you have 3 kids and it's really super quiet in your house. I mean, did you put Benadryl in your milk? Like, what's the story?
Well, we've got a lovely basement, so no, it's great. My husband, I have the privilege that my husband can work from home too. He's a software engineer, so we exchange offices and exchange kids. So we're blessed to be able to have that luxury. And plus, when he has to go in the office, it's literally 8 minutes down the road. So
That's good.
it's really, really convenient, especially since we're in Fairfax, Virginia, which is a very busy area. I can pop in and out, be still very active in my community. Since I'm in town, it's wonderful, and I'm not far from the big city or Maryland too, so I can pop up there when I need to. And I have a husband that has the ability to watch kids.
And wants to.
Yes, and wants to. Yes, exactly.
He's a very rare breed.
It's a mutual partnership here, so it's great.
That's important. I mean, the fact that
It really is.
yeah, you guys respect your space. You respect what he does. He respects what you do. So, mother of 3, you guys are doing private lending. You're real estate investors, and you're doing buy and hold rental properties. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, so we do manage properties, and we do have a few rental properties. We prefer to do is we like to set up lease options. So we like to connect homeowners that are not necessarily distressed, but they need to sell their home, and we like to present a different option for them. And in that way, we can help buyers that may not be able to qualify for a loan, yet we have a network, not only ourselves, but also private money or traditional lenders that can help with the credit building process. So when they lease a property, they lease to own it, kind of like rent to own. So we like to set those up. We don't mind being landlords, but landlording is a time-consuming job. So we prefer to set up lease to owns. So that's kind of that side. My husband works more on the multifamily side of real estate. I stick to more of the residential. I enjoy the people communication, the interaction, and solving individual problems. So that's kind of my niche.
So is there a TV or reality show in the works in the future?
That would be funny because we have done fix and flips, and that with children, I would say, is chaotic.
Right.
So we, thank goodness, have moved away from that. But
No,
and, everyone has a motivation. I would say the children has pushed our creativity, more understanding the paper side of things, and not having to be hands-on and everything, and letting other people do the work for you, and more of you be the one who manages and consults, and finds the solution to solve their problem.
So you're a very inspiring individual. I don't know if you look at yourself as a leader or somebody that's inspiring. If somebody wants to reach out to you and they want to talk to you, and unlike that person who said they wouldn't answer a question, keep searching out there or possibly purchase their course or whatever it is, would you mind if somebody wanted to reach out and ask you a question or two?
Not at all. I love to discuss situations over the phone or email. Not at all. I wouldn't mind it at all.
So, guys, if you want to reach out to Josephine directly and you want to ask her, how the heck is she doing it with 3 kids under the age of 4, from 3, 2, and 1, working from home? Her husband also works from home, although if he has to, he runs down the block 8 minutes. I mean, that's a tremendous commute. You can reach out to her directly on her cell, and you could call her or you could text her, which is 571-200-4006. Her number again is 571-200-4006. And you can reach out to her directly. People say to me all the time, Matt, why are you giving out your quote unquote competition that you're building? And here's a person that you're mentoring, or here's a student and you're spotlighting them. Why? Why do you do that? And I do that because I don't look at people as competition. I look at people as opportunity. And I think people really need to look at that across the board. There's a lot of hate going on right now in the world. There's a lot of misguided information that's being posted. There's certain things that are being blown up completely out of proportion. And I think people in general just need to get along. And I think we should just get back to, hopefully, state of normalcy once this whole COVID thing dies down and everything else that's going on in the world. I'm never going to change. I'm going to be the same person. And I hope that there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way, that they're just going to keep being them. And hopefully they're going to attract the right people, because nobody wants to hang with people, obviously, that are negative. Are there a lot of people in your space, Josephine, that are negative, Debbie Downers, that say, hey, why are you trying to help homeowners?
There are, I would say, I have come across those people. I think it's just part of the networking side with the investor side. Some people just are not people. And I think it shows more of their stress of having to communicate with homeowners. They're not as comfortable with it, because I'm more of a people person, so I don't get stressed out over it. So I find that people who, I think, put negativity towards it, they just can't come up with a solution, and they don't want to have to deal with the follow-up. Because I believe when you're working with a homeowner, it's much more, not that it's not important to be communicating with your lenders, your title company, and your attorneys, but they're more used to the email updates opposed to the long phone calls and the communications with the homeowners that are stressed out. And you have to be able to take that time to discuss their options and what solutions can work for them. So
are you coming across people right now that are obviously upset feel like they're being let down by their lender, not understanding, basically what their options are?
Yes, I have, especially a few weeks ago, when they weren't able to necessarily get a hold of their lender due to high call volume. So
Mhm.
that's when I had a lot of people reaching out, kind of freaking out.
Mhm.
What do I do? I'm pretty active in our local community, and I keep kind of the random updates on our town's Facebook pages and stuff of what local information is available to them. If they need to reach out to me, they can reach out to me. Pretty general, just as a help. No fees attached, no trying to sell them anything, no nothing. Just if they need some guidance of who they should reach out to, and how to approach it and what questions they need to ask. I always make myself available that way. And I do get a lot of naysayers sometimes on those posts, but you have to roll with it.
That's it. So, got a couple questions I'm going to ask. Very simple, very basic. Uh, but it's important, I think, for people to understand. So, again, what would make it different, or what makes you different than other short sale negotiators, do you think? What do you think what's your value proposition for people in your area?
I think what makes me stand out is I try to develop a good relationship with the lender, that I understand how to submit the right offer to the lender. I do know sometimes with other negotiators, they go back and forth on submitting multiple different offers, and they don't understand why they keep getting pushback. So I find that discussing with the lender, finding what their needs are, I know better how to consult the listing agent on the proper offer that needs to be submitted that will be accepted, without the back and forth. And the more back and forth, the more time it takes. So, and I think that's what makes me stand out a little bit more, is that I understand more the paper side instead of just the real estate side.
That's important, especially when you're negotiating.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, I'm going to ask you a question. I know it's going to make you laugh, but I have to know the full story. And is it true? Did you really fire a listing agent?
We did. Yes, and I say we is because I needed Leah's help, and this is what really instigated my help. um, so it was a flat listing
Mhm.
that um, that the poor homeowner had listed with over via internet, never spoken with the agent over the phone, just communicated via email with her. She's actually located in North Carolina, but also runs her licenses in DC and Maryland. Um, we had a difficult time trying to communicate with the flat listing agent because she listed it as a short sale. Um, the lender made it very clear, which is very obvious to me because I stepped into this after it had already been listed,
Mhm.
because it wasn't moving
Mhm.
and the homeowner was not understanding why it wasn't moving. And to the best of our ability, the lenders, law submit rep and myself, tried to convince the homeowner that he needed to get rid of the listing agent and that he needed to list it with an agent that would work with the lender. He didn't seem to understand that confusion until we deliberately co-wrote an email to him and the listing agent. She kept refusing to respond to any of that for about a solid 3 weeks.
The listing agent.
The listing agent, yes.
So this is a flat fee agency.
Right. That says
Short
she cannot represent the seller. And however, if you want to make any changes to the listing, it's $90. Any changes. Also, if you need to speak with her, it would be a fee. Also, what was it? She would need to see to update the MLS. She would need to see all offers presented for a fee. It was a complete nightmare.
So it really wasn't a flat rate price.
No, she nickeled and dimed the poor gentleman, the poor homeowner.
So
Leah was able to step in and get a hold of her and pretty much tell her how it was that you're putting this homeowner in jeopardy. He's going to get foreclosed on because you won't sign off on an offer that we had accepted,
right?
Quote, accepted from the lender.
Right.
And you need to sign off on the contract. And she said, no, I can't. And she charged him $200 to release the listing.
So we don't have to say their name, obviously. We don't even need to say the company that she had worked for. But what was the mindset behind the homeowner? What was the homeowner thinking by going with flat rate real estate?
He had gone through a listing agent prior, before he had thought or approached it as a short sale. He had gone through a traditional listing agent and came to the closing table and had to come up with $40,000. And he kept on getting told by real estate agents that regardless of how the transaction will go, you'll have to come to the table with about $40K, $36,000 or so.
So real estate agents that are licensed individuals that probably have taken one of these classes, and realistically, the classes are, in my opinion, something where it's just extra toilet paper around, hanging around. In the event you run out of real toilet paper, you can use that to wipe your tush with. These individuals are telling somebody, essentially, if there's a shortfall, that they are responsible for paying the difference. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah. You can sell your house, but you'll have to come to the closing table.
So when you spoke with this individual, how did this come about? Like, tell the story? How did you guys meet? And how did you say to him, hey, you don't have to pay it?
I thought it was funny to find a for sale by owner short sale on MLS.
I love it.
I do digging, and I like to I read all the comments, and I thought it was just it boggled my mind how you can have something listed with a brokerage, but it was a for sale by owner, because typically it's with an attorney or it's with an agent. That's how it usually is on MLS. Right. And I came across that one, and I had to give him a call to see what was going on.
Who's going to negotiate it? No.
That's where I filled in.
No, I'm not saying that. Who was negotiating it before?
The homeowner, which he didn't get anything approved. He didn't understand the process at all. He had the property listed for the price that is why he's underwater, and no one would be paying that price because it's $50K over or more. Technically 70, but $50K he probably would have taken.
So the listing agent actually took a listing for a flat rate price.
Yeah.
And plopped the property on MLS. So basically, the listing agent was just getting paid just the fees, knowing that essentially this person was going to drive themselves
into foreclosure.
Into foreclosure.
Yes. It's very sad. It's very sad.
And you stepped in, you rode in your white horse, and you reached out, and you made a difference in somebody's life. And the fact that you actually reached out to my team and that you spoke with Leah and that the two of you guys worked together, basically got the agent fired.
Yeah.
Essentially, the agent got fired, but essentially the homeowner had to pay $250 to make this guy go away so you could get the transaction completed.
Yep.
That's 1,000,000,000% ridiculous.
Well, I should point this out. She kept charging his card, and he'd just tell me he didn't want to dispute the charges. So I'd say she's more of a fraud.
Right.
But
I mean, somebody like that probably should be brought up to the MLS and say, "Hey, look, you're charging a flat rate, but you're charging additional fees." Was that in the contract? Did it state that additional fees were going to be charged?
it did have them with stipulations. It did, but under the circumstances that it was a short sale, I would assume that if you get a short sale crossed, it wasn't made clear that she wouldn't sign off on anything. So listing agreement said that she needed to get the contract in so she can pretty much sign off on it. However, she refused to do so because it was a short sale, but she listed it as a short sale.
And
So
why? But why would she not sign off on it? What was her reason on it?
she said that she does not represent the homeowner.
So who's supposed to sign off on the contract? This is going to be a very special part that I'm going to put in a podcast of what not to do and who not to be as a listing agent. To me, that is absolutely ridiculous. How much did the house actually sell for?
It sold for, I believe, that 428 after closing costs. PG County is about 20K in closing. So
Okay, so we'll say 400,000. We'll round it off.
yeah,
The buyer agent got paid a commission, right?
that is correct. Yes, she actually ended up did a dual listing.
So she got both sides of commission.
They would only do they didn't pay a full 6%. They only paid, I think, a 3.5% to her.
3.5% to her.
Mm-hmm.
How did the agent get involved? Because she was the buyer agent?
She brought the buyer, yeah.
That's great. And you literally handed this agent a listing?
Well, yeah, yes and no. She did a good portion of the work in the sense of keeping everyone calm during COVID because she was selling also the buyer's house.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she made some good money off the transaction. However, she kept the glue together on the buyer's end. And that was what was important because our seller he had gone through 2008. That's what put his house underwater. The lender that had originated the loan went under 2 months after he got his mortgage on his home. So
okay.
Yeah, his loan was a mess. And so I nearly to say not to have a panic attack, but we could not lose another buyer during COVID. So she kept the glue together on the buyer side, and she worked out an agreement with the seller to help take care of actually the property so they'd keep the HOA fees down because they were going to get hit with lawn maintenance, etc. So their buyers took care of the property for the COVID period when its shutdown happened, which was very nice of them.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they wanted that house, but they couldn't move.
How much was owed on the house? Do you remember?
It's like still 478, I think. Yeah, about 478.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the original mortgage was 540.
Okay, and how many years was it that the homeowner didn't pay the mortgage?
He had gone about 8. When we got the short sale approved, it was about, I think it was 17 to 18 months.
Okay, well that's not horrible. Okay.
And he had it listed with 2 agents for a solid year. So he had been actively, the property was vacant. He was actively trying to sell it. He just kept running into the wrong people to try and help him. Really sad, actually.
You know, it's funny. So Leah is actually, she wanted to come on, but we have some things going on right now she's taking care of. but she also gave me some good news with approval letters, so that's good too.
That is good.
But it's amazing, like everybody has a job. Everybody's supposed to do their job per se.
Mhm.
And when they don't do their job, right, it's kind of like you can't build a house without a foundation that's strong enough to support it. You can build a foundation. It doesn't mean necessarily that the foundation is going to work. So much like situations like this, when people are in trouble and in distress with their properties, obviously you want to try to do the right thing for them. So
Mhm.
we have a situation right now where the title company has not complied with the servicing company with the short sale. And we are in danger of everything getting reversed because of the title company. Well, what's the title company going to say? Sorry. And it's signatures. It's basic stuff. Now, you know firsthand, as you call the queen of emails,
Mhm.
what Leah puts in email. It baffles my mind that people cannot follow instructions when the instructions are so basic. Now,
She highlights, she color codes, she makes it very clear.
yeah, she does, which is important. You know, much like I do. Yellow is for information, red is for get off your ass. So, you know, it's important that people understand the importance of how much of a gatekeeper you are right now, and the fact that you actually took this thing to the next level. So, I mean, kudos for you for doing this, because, you know, most people will not go that extra mile. So let's say somebody's out there and they don't know how to find leads, or if they want to find leads, what would you say to somebody that wants to help, like you want to help? You actually went on the MLS, you were on the MLS, and you actually saw where it said that it was a for sale by owner short sale. To me, that is the most ridiculous thing I would ever see posted on an MLS.
Red flags.
Huge red flags, because realistically, the homeowner is not supposed to profit from it, and the agent is getting paid by the bank. So the homeowner is not paying for it. So why wouldn't it just be listed on the MLS, period, saying it's a for sale by owner? That to me just baffles my mind. So how do you find your leads?
My preferred method, honestly, would be the more organic leads through networking with the local community.
Mhm.
As you mentioned earlier, I'm part of the Chamber of Commerce in the area, which then we meet with local chambers that are border counties. So I find that actually getting to know your community more and your local banks more, they point you in directions of allowing you to be more the conduit between the lender and the investor, because or the homeowners. We've gotten from, they cannot refer to us individual residents, but what they can do is that they can tell individual residents that are having difficult keeping up with their mortgage to reach out to my company, and that we can actually assist them with their mortgage and get them on the path and what suits them best, whether it helps keep them in the home, or we develop where we can take over the mortgage or find someone that can.
Mhm.
So my most organic leads would honestly be referrals from, this might sound strange, from their lender. So
That's not strange. We actually get referrals sometimes from servicing companies to
mhm,
help out, because we've done business with them. They know what we do. They understand how my company gets paid. It's important that individuals find, you know, their niche, or some people say niche, for the purpose of helping others.
yep.
And I think once people understand that and understand their role, they will be more successful in the industry. And I don't say success by money and being monetized. I don't know about success and having success and getting special emails. Or I got a message, I think yesterday, the day before, from someone that saying I came highly recommended. that they love what we stand for helping other people. So, look, you helped, you got paid. The homeowner hopefully, went on to the next phase, whatever their life was. What happened with the homeowner after the sale or at the closing?
His wife actually had purchased another home down in Florida, so they decided they're just going to retire down in Florida. So that's where they're at currently. They were done with the state of Maryland. So yeah. So as I said,
They're okay.
long distance of making sure the property even being taken care of during this pandemic. So
Well, that's good. So basically, this is what I like. You're in Virginia, the house is in Maryland, I'm in New Jersey, and the people moved, my company's in New Jersey, and the couple moved to Florida.
yes.
That's pretty badass. To have all those states involved and have all these different, moving parts to try to put everything together. It's like literally juggling balls in the air and making sure that the balls don't drop.
Yep. And time zones. Leah's in a different time zone than I am.
That's true too. Different time zone, which is all right. It's funny, because sometimes she'll call me at 12 o'clock in the morning and it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's still pretty late, but it's okay. I mean, look, we deal with people all over the United States now. So it's not uncommon for me to be walking around downstairs talking on the phone at, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
People in California.
Yep.
It's about finding your niche and running with it.
It truly is. And communication is key.
Yeah, no, 100%. I appreciate the fact that you took the time today to come on here to talk, a little bit about where is the company located.
I always enjoy watching your show. So
I appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming on. Is there anything you want to say in closing about yourself, about what you do, about, how you care about helping other individuals?
I would probably say that if you're looking for a better understanding on how to submit right offers, say for instance, if you're a real estate investor and you've been getting, what you've considered as dead leads, and you don't know how to approach them, you might want some eyes on them. If they need assistance with how to reach out to just the lender and how to develop a conversation, I don't mind assisting with that if they want to do it themselves, but are kind of intimidated in a way. Especially with everything that's been going on, I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot more of the need for short sales. So investors will be coming across more properties that are going to be underwater. And I'm being a real estate investor myself a few years ago, I would put those properties, filter those out. Somebody else will handle it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. It's an honest fear because you just don't know how to handle it. And you don't want to raise the hopes, because I also have seen investors raise the hopes of people who are underwater and they think that they're getting help. And then they realize too far into the transaction and they just drop the ball. And if you're at the point of that, you might be thinking about just dropping the ball on a homeowner, reach out for help.
Right. Foreclosure should never be an option, obviously.
Yeah, it should never.
So guys, if you want to reach out to Josephine, you can reach her directly on her cell phone, which is 571-200-4006. Again, it's 571-200-4006. And you can obviously reach out to her on social media. One of your hashtags. Hashtag one. Well, my bad on that. What is one of your hashtags?
Oh, stop foreclosures, stop, Yep. Stop foreclosures. It's the only one I could think of besides Fidum Company.
All right. So the name of the company is Fidum Company. It's
Yeah.
FIDUM Company.
Yeah.
FIDUM Company.
Yep.
It's out of Fairfax, Virginia. You and your husband are working together. His full-time job is a software engineer slash a daycare provider during the day, and you are the true entrepreneur. And what do they say? By behind every man is a great woman. In your situation, I think you guys are definitely side by side. So I do appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate that you took the trust in, taking that step and doing the mentorship with my company. It, it's money, and whether it's a little money or a lot of money, some people should see the value in doing the education. Whether they're going to get a certificate or CT credits, or be able to have a craft and be able to, help individuals going forward. So I appreciate, you working with our company, and I'm sure we're going to see more to come with you. Lia says a lot of great things about you. And at the end of every show, I ask people to emulate my finger point. So I'd like to see if you can do it. All right, I'm going to give it to you. I'll give it to you. 6.5. Only because you didn't do that. You're like this. Oh, I like that. I'm going to give you an 8. That was good. You nailed that. Thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Hold on 1 sec. Guys, remember, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 12 o'clock. We're doing this not because we have to, but because we want to. We want to bring value, and we want to talk about or bring people on of interest. So if you want to be a guest on the show, obviously you can reach out. If you know somebody be a great point of interest to coming on the show, please, by all means, reach out. And thank you so much, obviously, for following us. And remember, it's not a no until you get a restraining order. It's Matt Marrow, Full State Recovery Group. My guest today is Josephine Surprenant. Surprenant.
Surprenant.
Damn it, Surprenant. Hold on one second. Go anywhere.